Hey, it's Virginia J, and I'm a leisure historian. So, what exactly does that mean? It means I like to talk about how people have fun. And this weekend, what better way to have fun than to take a trip to Houston, baby? But first of all, we got to run a couple errands. So, bear with me, y'all. First off, shout out my barber Shonk and Fade, the best barber in Durham, North Carolina. But while I transition into getting to Houston, let me tell you, the whole Real ID thing has got me stressed. But you about to see a couple clips from the first time I tried to attempt to interview my brother. We might throw that up on another video soon, but let me get back to the video. But I've made it to Houston, and just gonna start the morning. It's a beautiful, what is it, Friday? It's a beautiful Friday. I linked up with my brother, interviewed him last night while we was out and about. Now that I'm in Houston, I've explored downtown a little bit. I've gotten some better context for the city. But part of leisure history is lived history. I would consider it, in some forms it intersects with public history. Transparently, I just want to thank everybody for their love on such a great first episode. And some people told me, honestly, this Houston trip, I planned it months in advance, but I thought what would be a better time than bringing y'all along this journey and just kind of explaining not only history, but leisure is a lived form, is a lived art form, and leisure history deserves more recognition. We're going to get out here. We're going to live a little bit. I was supposed to link up with Kam tomorrow for the Astros game. We're rooting for the Mariners, at least on my end. Native Houstonian, he's going to go for the Astros, but before I step out, I almost forgot. And then hanging with my friends from Houston, and they talking about Houston pride. As a born and raised Virginian, it reminds me so much of how my area of Virginia doesn't get a lot of recognition. At least not overtly. We've contributed to a lot of fields, music, sports fandoms, movies, and people that you wouldn't even realize come from Suffolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Hampton, Virginia Beach. It just warms my heart as a native Virginian and a leisure historian to see the cultural expression in Houstonian pride. It reminds me of why I'm writing my thesis to begin with. As many may not know, I am a master's student, and my thesis does reflect on leisure and cultural expression. It's a great Friday morning, and I just wanted to take a moment to reflect and give all glory to God, and once again remain thankful for those who tapped into the podcast. This is probably going to be one of the lighter episodes we do. We're on vacation, baby. You got to give yourself grace sometimes. I'll see y'all in a second. We're finally in Houston, the Parlay Bull Podcast. I'm Virginia J. I linked up with the bros.
My name is Texas Kam, man. Texas Kam live in the flesh.
Listen, so what Cam doesn't know is I recorded a video yesterday explaining that we actually recorded this already, just in case. Tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, your family history, where you come from, where your people come from, where we at.
Okay, well, for my family history, it starts with like a contribution to the culture itself. My great grandfather is a blues singer. His name is Buddy Ace, and he was a Rolling Stone. So our story starts in Chicago.
Okay.
And it makes our way down south. And then we settled here in Houston, and we've been here ever since. But we still have a lot of roots down to Chicago, and it makes sense because Chicago is very heavy in the music industry. You know what I'm saying? And so my people, my dad and my mom and dad are from Missouri City, Texas, but my dad's people are from Dallas.
Okay.
My mom's mom people are from New Orleans. And that was part of a different great migration. And so we've been here for about, I'd say, the last 30 to 40 years, and I'm like the second or third generation Houstonian.
Yeah, that's roughly about 2 generations. I think what comes with that, tell us a little bit more about Houston. A lot of people don't know. I remember in our prior conversation, you mentioned, sports teams, Oiler Blue, Texan Blue, how the city has copyrights on certain things.
Yeah. And it's like capitalism is really removing our culture little pieces at a time, because Third Ward is a historical black district. TSU is in the middle of Third Ward. And what gentrification is doing is pushing out those black families that already couldn't afford living in the area. So it's like, what's the point of going to an HBCU that's surrounded by white people or Asians or Indians? It takes away from that culture and that experience of being around black people, where people go to HBCUs for. And another thing with the Oiler Blue is a lot of our infrastructure and public service, our cars and trucks and stuff, and our freeways were Oiler Blue. And that came first before the football team. And so the Oilers, they picked it up and inherited that color. It's our city flag color. And when we sold it off, we lost rights to a lot of that, which means we lost rights to a lot of our old culture. And UH right now is actually battling legal battles with the Tennessee Titan organization over that color. You know, and it's because to them it's just a color, it's a patent, it's a copyright. For us, it's really a huge part of who we are. And we fighting to keep that alive. As you know, people are migrating, people are forgetting the culture, people ain't staying true to who they are. And another part of the culture that a lot of people are really familiar with but don't really know about is the slab lines. Each hood has a specific color. You know, back in the day, I would say that generation is about 30, late 30s to early 40s. You would get beat up for being at a certain hood. And this was right before the generation that started shooting first and then fighting.
Okay.
You know, this is my uncle generation. They grew up with Sauce Walker, like personally knew this dude, and you know what I'm saying? So if you didn't know how to fight back then, you would get beat up. And so you would drive your car and they know just off the color of your car where you from, like, hey, we on your head. So it's like different colors represent different hoods of where you from. And a lot of people come down here, a lot of musicians, they like to adopt Houston as their second home. They'll buy a slab and don't even know what color you represent.
As a Virginian, you know, listening to Southern music, and I'm going to argue with y'all a different day. Virginia's the South. I'm not doing that today. That's a separate episode. But shut up. Shut up. So when you listen to UGK, when you listen to this rappers, 8 Ball and MJG, when you start listening to everybody in the South, there's a specific culture, especially a car culture. Big Crit kind of introduced a lot of other people to that.
Oh, absolutely. He paid a lot of homage.
So when we talk about a slab, could you define it for the people who don't know?
So what a slab is, you essentially take an old Chevy, an old American car. It has to be American because, you know, it's an American culture thing. It has to be an old American car. Chevy, Buick, Impala, Ford four-door with the Fox body, anything old, you know what I'm saying? And then what you want to do is they strip it down and then they build it back up from the floor up. So what you want to do is you have to include the traditional white wall tires. That's like the staple, you know what I'm saying? They call them bows, you know what I'm saying? And then once you get your tires, you need your rims. We call those elbows because they poke real wide in the lane, you feel me? I don't know what they call it officially. We always call them bows, elbows, you know what I'm saying? And you can get them gray. You can get them silver or gold, you know what I'm saying? And then, of course, the most important part is the candy paint. You know, Paul Wall, candy paint dripping off in the lane, Splash Town. Like, you gotta have some fire candy paint. And that's gonna run you about a cool 3 bands, you know, but it's the most important part. And then the interior, the alligator interior, you know what I'm saying? That stems from really the church culture. If you stepped in the church with the alligators on, you was
fresh. You feel me? The freshest one Sunday.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, a lot of Southern music is rooted heavily in the church. Like, if you listen to them old DJ Screw tapes and them old SUC tapes, you can hear them church organs, bro, because we all grew up in church. So it's real important that you put the alligator interior with the wood grain wheel, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I remember a couple months ago when I was trying to learn to make beats, you would tell me, look at like TSU band, Southern University, and
it all sounds like church music. When you take away the words and you just listen to the chorus, it's all church music. It's all it is.
So, you know, with that being said, why is car culture so important? Let me give you a little bit of context. In another clip I recorded, I talk about how I'm a leisure historian. And this whole episode, while I'm on vacation, it is about why do people have fun. And I think I told you before I flew out here, it's going to look at like Houston as the sampling size. Why is the car, like why is riding on slabs, riding on Vogues, why is that so important? Where did that come from?
Where did it come from? It's like an expression of wealth in the hood, right? You fix up your car, people can hear you coming down the block. You got to have money to have a slab because you're going to be putting in $20,000, $50,000 because you're going to fix up the engine. Like, it costs money. So it was a symbol of status. You made it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You made it, but you didn't make it out. You know what I'm saying? You stayed, you represented your people, and you stayed in, you fed the people around you because, you know, you're going to go to your boy with the body shop. You're going to go with your boy with the radios and speakers. You know what I'm saying? It was a symbol of status. So you come down the block with the 15s in the back, you can hear him coming. He's shaking the windows and bricks off the house. And that's an actual song, knocking pictures off the wall. If your system was cool enough, you can really knock pictures off somebody's house coming down the lane. You know what I'm saying? That's really all it was about, showing off. We down here, we flashy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We flashy. That's the flashy coach. You know, Pimp C with the big jackets and the hats. And so that's who we are. That still comes from church. Right. You go to church once a week and you trying to shine on everybody one day out of the week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where all the flashy clothes and the flashy cars come from. You're trying to make a statement. You're trying to be seen before you be seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A grand arrival type thing. So that's what really the slab culture.
Speaking speaking of like a fashion statement, because we're talking about the cars and we're talking about the church culture. What is Houston fashion? In 2025, we see a lot of the oversized jeans, the oversized shirts, the V-Long. We got a man's who hype beast. Ken, I hope you watch it, and I'ma know because you're gonna say something. we got the shoe culture.
Yeah.
What is Houston's fashion statement?
Houston, I ain't gonna lie, man. We're gonna have to take a nice little chapter out the dope boy section, the white tee from the gas station.
Yeah.
And that's a staple.
Yeah.
But for Houston fashion, I would say it's more so of because we don't have a signature style. You know what I'm saying? We really go for comfort because we dress for the weather.
Right.
So we gonna be in some simple, nice jeans, some Jordans is a staple in Houston culture. And really just mostly jewelry. It's not really more clothes, it's more jewelry. You know what I'm saying? The grill, the chains. Oh, and the haircut. It's been recently that we grow our hair out, but a real Houstonian, a whole head, he gonna have that bald fade with the waves.
The bald fade with the waves.
You know what I'm saying? He gonna have the waves and the 360s going. That's a real Houston fit right there. It's really what you wear, how your appearance. It's not really the clothes. I'd say that.
Okay.
And it's even in another song. Look, Kiki, he said, never afro, our signature phase, never afros and braids. Coming down the lane of Escalades. Like, bro, it's a real staple. Having waves on spin.
Now, I do agree. Growing your hair out is a new thing. My first episode was on Afrofuturism, and I don't know to what extent, if that's a part of that movement. I just think a good little thing about it. What's up, man?
Hey, how y'all doing?
What up? Trying.
Something like that.
Working on the podcast, man.
It's about Houston. See?
Hey, man. Appreciate you stopping, though.
All right. Is he great migration?
You feel me?
They not even from here.
You feel me? He said the old head was from Houston. He from Atlanta. And there's probably another episode out doing Atlanta. I got to go there eventually. But the thing, I think the fashion statement is more about appearance rather than clothes. I think that's dope because your appearance is eternal almost. You know what I'm saying? If you always keep a haircut, you keep yourself fresh, no matter what clothes you got, you should be good.
And it really ties into what Houston is known for, and they known for having really beautiful women. So the dudes here, we put a lot of emphasis on being dapper Dan 24/7.
Right.
You'll wake up and you'll walk by 5, 10 out of 10s. You know what I'm saying? It's only 5, it's only 10 a.m. So that really is, it encourages people to stay fresh. Have your money right with the nice car because you're going to always have some honeys walking by. You know what I'm saying? So it's real important.
But we was out the other night and it seemed like a lot of people was a little stiff. And
yeah, that's how it is.
Feel me? Why is that? Why are people so stiff on talking to people and on strangers? Is it like hey man, I don't know you? Is it like a place where, a lot of people are just not no good for you, trying to get out to get you? Or is it just like, I'm on my business?
Houston is a real slimy city, but it's not like other people think. Like, we ain't gonna come up to you and just,
you feel me?
But we'll talk to you. We'll chop it up with you. Oh, boom, I got you.
Oh, yeah.
And that mouthpiece, there's somebody really finesse you out something just by talking too much. So people are real hesitant to just talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Houston is also a very large city in sex trafficking. So I'm not here to chop it up with you too long. I'm really finna go upside you because what you talking to me for? So you got to be real cognizant and aware in this city, and it's really like, you don't mess with me, I don't mess with you. And that really stems from that Southern hospitality thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't got to be mean to you, but I don't also have to talk to you. No hard feelings though. Right. So, if you talk to somebody, hey, how you doing? They'll say it back. It's not like that now because all the transplants, that used to be a real big thing. Someone spoke back and they acknowledged you every single time.
Now, when you say transplant, you mean people moving into the city?
People moving in and they not absorbing, they not assimilating.
Right.
And it's messing up the culture down here.
Right. So this is kind of a tangent, but depending on how I chop this, I mentioned a little bit earlier, Virginia is very much the South. So I'm probably throw up a map for y'all, and I'm going to explain how. A lot of people think Virginia is the North because when they think Virginia, they think DMV, they think D.C. The Maryland part is right outside D.C.
Yeah.
The Nova part is what people think of.
Uh-huh.
I'm not from there, right? And I'm from Suffolk, which is Virginia border. Carolina's right here. My hometown is 20, 30 minutes from the Carolina border.
Okay. So you
feel
deep down there.
You feel me? I'm from the southeastern part of Virginia. I'm from like Jamestown, where all this stuff started, colonialism. That's like an hour from where I grew up, going up, actually.
That's crazy in retrospect.
You feel me? Richmond is still in the southeastern part, and 757 is still the best area code. We'll get into that another day.
Anyway, 713. Feel me?
Anyways, so the part I'm from, I grew up, I think I told you this the other day, there's 3 high schools in my in my city.
That's insane to hear because my school district alone got about 10, 5A, 6A schools.
Right. My high school, literally, it's a building right here. This is the high school. Say the building past this one, so the building across, that's the middle school. You feel me? My city, there might have been, and I'm sure my mama and my daddy or my friends back home will see this. I can't remember off the top. There might have been 6, maybe 7 elementary schools. You all funneled into like one of like 4 or 5.
Oh, that's a Houston culture right there.
Along.
That's a Houston tradition. They stopped actually.
I'm not sure if y'all gonna see.
That's called an art car. We used to do this thing called art car parade every year. They actually stopped it for the first time and last time. So that's an ancient relic right there. That's a piece of the culture that died right there. Y'all witnessing in live fashion.
Hey, that's hard.
You know what I'm saying?
You funneled into like one of like 4 or 5 middle schools, and then everybody funneled in to 3 high schools.
Yeah.
And I say that to say that's a typical like when you think of small country town, my city is like, I ain't gonna call it all the way country because there's bits and pieces. But that's why when y'all say, oh, Virginia's not the South, my high school is right beside a strawberry field. 5 minutes up the street is a cotton field.
Hey, not gonna lie, if we had time, I could drive you by a cotton field right now.
You feel me?
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
they still out there.
People forget Richmond was the capital of the Confederacy. That's not a flex, by the way. It's just like, as a historian.
It's a history fact.
You feel me? It's like, there's a reason it was the capital. The capital was so close to D.C. for a reason. And so what you're saying to kind of prove that it's like that Southern hospitality thing, Virginia is the same way.
Yeah.
Like, you go to my state, you go to my part specifically, you're not really supposed to be on no, like, just talk to strangers.
Yeah, because I'm going to look you weird.
Like, yeah, like,
what's wrong with you?
It's cool to be like, hey, how you doing? But
you keep it pushing.
You feel me? I knew a couple people now, they do a little finesse, they do a little scam. And it's kind of the same in North Carolina, especially because a lot of tech industries are moving into the area. So what a lot of people are doing is they might finesse you on some simple stuff. You think scam, you think just credit card, Social Security. Nah, the new thing is, yo, bro, I got a cert for you. I got a certification for you.
I'm telling you, bro, they getting crafty.
I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I done seen people be like, yo, I'm selling this course. There's probably a different episode. People who sell courses, multi-level marketing things, this is probably going to be a whole separate episode, but Forex. Remember that back in the day?
Look, man.
Last thing before we head to the park. Hopefully we're going out tonight. If not, we're going to finesse something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I came to the city. I leave tomorrow. Mind you, known Kam from a group chat since 2018. Like, I've seen him grow as a person. He's seen me literally grown into an adult man. This is the first time we've ever linked up. It's been nothing but great vibes. For my first time coming to the city, been as brotherly me as anybody else I know in my life. You feel me? Where we leave off at? Scamming? Well, that's going to be a separate episode on its own, or definitely check out Kameron James. Great series, deep dives, all that. The point of me coming was to go to the Mariners Astros game.
Go Stros.
No, we're going to see baseball. Baseball has played an important part, not in just American life, but in the Black Americans' life since literally forever. The Negro Leagues they were here for what, maybe 30, 40 years. I think the last Negro League team phased out in the 60s. And so I don't know how much you may know, but do you know anything about Houston's Negro League culture or anything about the Astros kind of adopting and paying homage to like maybe minor league legends, Negro League legends?
As long as I've lived here, I've never heard anything about the Astros paying homage to Negro League anything, honestly. I've done my own little research, and I can't remember if Houston had their own Negro League team. But if they did, that would be really dope, and I would definitely be repping the gear. But you don't hear anybody down here talking about Negro League. That's honestly pretty sad. You know, what's more South than Texas other than Florida? You know what I'm saying? So it's for them to not have anything, it's kind of disheartening.
And I think, and it's interesting because, you know, my friend, shout out to Jared, I hope you're watching. My friend Jared, he actually does work with baseball teams. Jared is the reason I got into baseball. And he's the one that put me on to, you know, Mariners stats and Royals stats. But one thing Jared taught me is baseball drip is cool, but minor league and Negro League drip, unparalleled. Can't even lie.
They got the best jerseys by far.
Feel me? And, you know, it's on my Instagram. I've got a Negro League jersey, and doing some research, it's interesting to see people from the Negro Leagues back then, when they couldn't get in to these white clubs, they would barnstorm, which they would play in their city. They'll go to Mexico, go to Cuba. In the modern day, Japan has its own league. It's not it's not MLB, but it's essentially a Japanese-only league. I believe in Japan, and it's kind of like a culture thing built into when you sign your contract. You sign a contract in Japan, 18, 19-year-old kid, you're signing a 10-year contract. You can't even go to the major, and you might be good by 25 to be major, but now you're 30.
And you can't go anywhere.
You feel me? Like a 30-year-old in baseball is different from 30 in football, 30 in basketball. 30 in baseball is like, yo, you got maybe 5, 8 years left. And depending on how much wear and tear is on your body.
Really?
So what do you think, or what may be the damage if enough black people said, you know what, what's the harm in creating our own, I wouldn't maybe not call it the Negro League, but kind of like a black-only league that we can kind of push baseball onto our youth as another avenue besides basketball and football to push to the major league.
Honestly, going off what I've learned through history, it'd be the pushback we get for that would be
astronomical.
Like
astronomical.
Y'all thought Jim Crow was bad. Let us up and just stop playing these sports teams. Y'all gonna see some stuff. Unlike man-made horrors beyond comprehension type thing. Like them white folks is gonna have it for real. But the change would be overnight. Like economies would crash overnight. Economies would crash overnight, People would be broke overnight.
You feel me? And I could definitely speak to that, for basketball and football. But even then, with baseball, once again, I talked to my bro about this. Baseball, you see a lot more
Afro-Latinos.
Yeah, and they might not even claim the Afro part. You got Cubans and Dominicans, white Americans that are into baseball. If black people were more interested into baseball than what they are now, I feel like we'd see some real change. Because honestly, the only real sports you see black Americans play is basketball and football.
And we would dominate baseball. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. We would dominate. We dominate anything, honestly. But if we all picked up baseball, it'd be astronomical. Like, we turn the game into something that's never been seen before.
And there's another sport I think we do well in, and that's golf.
Golf? I've seen clips of some young golf kids just going crazy.
You feel me?
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely believe that, too. We even started getting in hockey and then winter sports and snowboarding, and we killing that, too.
You feel me? Like, I've got a good friend. He's really into hockey. My dad's into golf, and I wish I had picked it up in high school because what people don't know, even if you don't do it for the money,
that's where you negotiate.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the money talks is happening, on them golf courses. So you definitely need to learn how to play some golf.
Exactly. And the thing about golf will get you a full ride.
Man.
You don't got to pay. But I've known some people when I was in university. I didn't know until after we graduated. They ain't got to pay nothing. Golf scholarship. All 4 years.
Full ride.
You feel me? Because a lot of people sleeping on golf. I got golf money because ain't nobody coming over here. I find me a good golfer. Yeah. Oh, I can afford. What you want?
Golf, tennis, soccer, swimming, they will pay for all that, man. Those are skills black people really need to develop for real.
You feel me? That being said, we about to head to the baseball game. We might take some clips there, might not. Hopefully we go out tonight because I ain't gonna lie, it's hot. No, Trident's up, Mariners Nation. I don't know how to close out a video, so we're going to see.
Y'all after the game, man.
You feel me? Well, I'm back in North Carolina, and you're not going to see footage from the game because we took a horrible L. I'm just not going to show it because I'm a sore loser. All jokes aside, appreciate my brother Kam for such a great interview, man. Shout out to my friends I got to see in Houston, and shout out to the ones I didn't get to see because I'm coming back. I mean, before I wrap up, and I just want to open the floor because I've been thinking about starting up a Patreon or something. So if you want to support the show, you can. But before I do that, I wanted to include everyone that's been watching and supporting me so far. What would y'all like to see more of? Like where I do my poetry and these short stories that I've been working on? Or would you like more interviews, more behind the scenes stuff? Anything I haven't thought of or listed, let me know. I'm open. The podcast is equal parts about getting out of my comfort zone, but also building a community. That's what I want to do. That's the long-term goal here. So while we're building together, give me suggestions. Let me know. But until next time, I'm Virginia J, and this has been the Parlay Bull Podcast. Peace.